Hi, I'm Jake. I make RPG supplements and videos about Pathfinder 2, or PF2. I love PF2. There have been lots of books lately, and I haven't caught up on all of them, so I'm going back to cover some things that I hadn't covered yet. So this is going to be War of Immortals, the Exemplar Ikons. Because this is why you take the Exemplar Multiclass Archetype, or make an Exemplar. Because the icons are the iconic abilities of the exemplars. It's not all about the feats for them. They don't get spells. So this is the unique thing that they get besides the epithets, the name thing, which you don't get as an archetype, but you do get as the class. So icons. I'm going to read the intro to icons because people need to know how they work. If you don't give a damn, then just go to this link this time here and we'll just start going over the icons. So icons. As an exemplar, you select 3 icons at first level. If it's the multi-class archetype, you choose 1. And at 12th, you get another. And no, there are no cheesy feat ways around it. Typically, you will want to ensure at least one of your icons is a weapon. Body icons accentuate a physical trait of your body and so can't be stolen, disarmed, dispelled, or otherwise taken away. Weapon and worn icons are tied to items of power. When you select one, you gain a non-magical level 0 item of your choice that matches its usage entry. So you just, get a bow. Providence ensures you come across these items. You might be traveling along a path to find a spear in a tree that only you can dislodge, or a sword in a stone. Or you might awaken holding a gleaming sash you saw in your dreams because you have dream powers which are not covered in this class. And they should be. Alright, I'm already tangenting. I miss the fairy tales of Long, Broad, and Sharpsight. And those are not included here. I'll talk about them again later, but those were cool. If any of you saw the Adventures of Baron Munchausen, you know what I mean. Your icons can be etched with runes, upgraded, or otherwise modified as normal for items of their type. A body or worn icon can have runes etched on it to apply to your unarmed attacks as though it were hand wraps of mighty blows, though only one of your icons can have these runes, and no icon can have both these and armor or weapon runes. Obviously, because you gotta follow the rules. If you acquire a new item, the icon's usage could apply to... You can switch your icon to the new item by spending 1 day of downtime with the new icon as you saturate the object with your divine energy and spittle. Okay, I added that last part. You can use this process to make an existing magic item like a Cloak of Illusions or a Searing Blade into your icon. And then you should change how it looks. Look at Soul Forger for ideas. If the item wasn't already a divine item, it becomes one for as long as it is your icon, removing the arcane, occult, primal, or magical trait from the item and adding the divine trait, which is still magical. It's just of only the divine tradition. Artifacts, intelligent items, and other similarly powerful objects might resist your attempts to exert your divinity over them, with unpredictable results determined by the GM. Yeah, okay. These icons are all alphabetized, so they're not in sections of worn versus weapon versus body. It's just not all that useful this way, but whatever, this is the default. So, Bands of Imprisonment, worn icon. All of these icons have the icon trait. Not gonna repeat it. Usage, worn anklets, bracers, or circlet, often a headband. These weighted bands don't enhance your power, rather, they keep your strength in check, honing your discipline. Imminence, the Bands of Imprisonment tighten, keeping your mind sharp. You gain a +1 status bonus to will saving throws and resistance to mental damage equal to half your level. The theme of this doesn't make any sense to me, but maybe it's just folklore from a culture I'm not familiar with. Mental damage resistance is very useful at mid-levels. At first level, it won't matter. Transcendence, break free. I should point out that the Transcend ability, you can just call it Transcend. They are abilities that you can use once while that icon has your Divine Spark, and as soon as you do, it leaves that item and goes into another item, unless you got Exemplar through the Multiclass Archetype, in which case it goes into your body, and then you have to put it back into an item. So a lot of what the Exemplar does is sort of stance dancing. You use one item's transcend ability, and it flows into another item that you're planning on using for its transcend ability next turn. Which is why you start off with 3 icons. And yeah, so it basically costs an extra action to use your icon's transcend ability if it's a multiclass archetype for you. Yeah, it's not as great, but some of these are super powerful. So let's read the Bands of Imprisonment transcend ability. Break free, 2 actions. You can attempt to escape with a +2 status bonus to your check, on your check. Then stride up to twice your speed in a straight line and finally make a melee strike. Yeah, that's a lot of action compression. You escape, you stride twice, and then you make a melee strike. That's 4 actions for 2 actions. If you don't need to escape, or you can't move, or choose not to, you still take the other actions listed. So it's still action compression at any level with this item. These are useful right off the bat. And I love that the icons, none of them have a level requirement. You just get them. Really cool. Alright, next icon is a weapon icon. It's Barrow's Edge, which is really one of my very favorite icons. Usage, melee weapon that deals slashing or piercing damage. This blade subtly rattles in its scabbard as if it wants to be unsheathed so it can consume violence. Imminence, which is the passive ability that this always does as long as the divine spark that you have is in this item. The Barrow's Edge deals 1 additional spirit damage per weapon damage die to a creature it strikes. If the creature is below half its maximum hit points, the weapon deals 3 additional spirit damage per weapon damage dice instead. Barrow's Edge rattles more strongly when an enemy below half its maximum hit points is within the weapon's reach to let you know a foe is verging closer to death, which is really great if you don't have a GM that just tells you, hey, this guy's at half health. GMs should just do that. Because, like, if you are actually fighting someone in real life, you kind of know if they've taken a beating. Alright, so it's Transcend ability. Drink of my foes! 1 action, it has... all of the Transcend abilities have the Transcendence trait. This also has the Healing and Vitality traits, as will become obvious. Requirements. Your last action was a successful strike with the Barrow's Edge, which is the descriptor for this kind of weapon, whatever the weapon is. Effect. Your blade glows as it absorbs your foe's vitality. You regain hit points equal to half the damage dealt. Finally, we have a vampiric ring of regeneration. It's just in a very altered form. But yay! You can do so much self-healing with an Exemplar. I actually took the scar that heals you with my NPC in the live stream that I do every week. Because why wouldn't you want healing? Especially if you can't cast healing spells. Next icon is a Warren icon, Fetching Bangles. I know, it seems like they're pretty, but that's really not the point, because puns. Usage, Warren bracers. These lovely armbands sparkle and gleam, reflecting your own incredible magnetism. Oh yeah. The Imminence ability. Aura, mental traits. Others find it hard to leave your captivating presence. An aura surrounds you in a 10-foot emanation. An enemy in the aura that attempts to move away from you must succeed at a will save against your class DC or its move action is disrupted. Incredibly useful for a tank-like character. That's mostly it. Transcend. Embrace of Destiny. 1 action, mental, spirit. Choose an enemy within 20 feet of you. It must succeed at a will save against your class DC or be pulled directly toward you into a square adjacent to you. Get over here! The ability. Yeah, I wouldn't make these bangles. Well, it's a little harpoon demon that pops out of my hand. What's strange about that? Next icon, body icon, eye-catching spot. As the emotion trait. Usage, imbued on the face. A fetching beauty spot under an eye, or a smile as warm as the sun distracts foes and captures hearts alike. Imminence. As the mental and visual traits, your beauty becomes supernaturally enhanced, distracting foes and imposing a -1 circumstance penalty to melee attack rolls against you. That's great! Transcend. Captivating Charm. 2 actions. It has the Concentrate, Emotion, Mental, and Visual traits. You focus your attention on a creature within 30 feet, overwhelming its senses. The creature must succeed at a will save against your class DC or be fascinated by you until the start of your next turn. The condition ends if you use a hostile action against the target, but not if you use a hostile action against its allies. Oh, that's neat. I like that. So the fascinate just means that whatever they do has to include you. Still means they could AoE people. But mostly it's good at keeping people's attention on you and away from your allies. There are a lot of abilities that the Exemplar has that makes them really good tanks. Of course, as soon as the Guardian class comes out, that won't mean the same thing because the Guardians will just take one icon from the Exemplars and be way better than any Exemplar ever could be at tanking. The more you know. Next icon, Body Icon. Gaze sharp as steel. Usage imbued in the eyes. Your eyes glint with an almost tangible sharpness.
Let me feel your eyes, they feel sharp.
Letting you spot the tiniest swallow on the horizon or the swiftest arrow in flight. The first time I read this, I was reading it really slowly, and I'm like, how do you spot someone swallowing? Oop. Oh, on the horizon, you mean the bird. All right. Imminence. Your vision sharpens and allows you to sense an enemy's attack almost as soon as it begins, granting you a +1 status bonus to perception checks and a +2 status bonus to your AC against ranged attacks. Obviously, it's useful, not in every fight, not in every adventure. Transcendence. A moment unending. 1 action, concentrate prediction. You take in every moment around you, affording you unparalleled accuracy. Your next successful strike against an enemy before the end of your next turn deals an additional 1d6 precision damage. This damage increases to 2d6 at 10th level and 3d6 at 18th level. This is probably great if you are an archer that's trying to take out other archers. I think I would probably only be taking this to get the +1d6 precision damage. But it takes an action. Still, it is a great use of an action. That fits a lot of builds and helps a lot of builds a little. So they need to exist, I guess. It's just not impressive or fun. Next icon, Weapon Icon. Gleaming Blade, not like Barrow's Edge. I suck the life from your body. Next icon, Weapon Icon. Gleaming Blade. Usage, a weapon in the sword or knife group or a melee unarmed attack that deals slashing damage. Melee unarmed, so claws. This blade glitters with such sharpness it seems to cut the very air in front of it. Imminence. Strikes with the Gleaming Blade deal 2 additional spirit damage per weapon damage die. That's just a good straight upgraded damage. Let's see what else it does. Transcendence. Flowing Spirit Strike. 2 actions. It has the Spirit trait. Make 2 strikes with the Gleaming Blade, each against the same target and using your current multiple attack penalty. If the Gleaming Blade doesn't have the Agile trait, the second strike takes a -2 penalty. If both attacks hit, you combine their damage, which is all dealt as spirit damage. Oh, that's cool. That's cool. It's hard to avoid that. You add any precision damage only once. Combine the damage from both strikes and apply resistances and weaknesses only once. This counts as 2 attacks when calculating your multiple attack penalty. So it just makes you be more assured of hitting something. I personally would spend a feat on doing something really similar instead of this. Because if you're building to try to do that, there's just cheaper ways to do it because you're really limited on how many icons you get. It's not like you get another one every 2 levels. You do get more, but you don't get one every 2 levels. Next icon, Weapon Icon, Hands of the Wildling. Usage, a melee free hand weapon or a melee unarmed strike. Tattooed fists, savage claws, or even powerful gauntlets. You swing each with the fury of an animal from the woods. What kind of animal? Can you be more specific, like a squirrel? Dove? Those are animals. Imminence, strikes with your Hands of the Wildling deal an additional 1 spirit splash damage per weapon damage die. You are immune to this splash damage. That's good. So 1 splash damage per weapon damage die, and it's spirit. I don't know of anything that has a spirit weakness. It's probably something. But that doesn't really do much. So Transcendence. Feral Swing, 2 actions. Has the spirit trait effect. You lash out with both arms, rending all before you. Each creature in a 15-foot cone must succeed at a basic reflex save against your class DC or take spirit damage equal to your normal strike damage with your Hands of the Wildling. You can choose to swing with abandon, which imposes a -2 circumstance bonus to enemies' saving throws, but causes you to become off guard until the start of your next turn. The Exemplar is basically a martial class. They took away the domain initiate feat from their feats, which sucks. So they're less, like, direct connection to godhood, as they are now just imbued in their physical body with the gifts of a deity. So that doesn't come with a lot of AoEs. So this is one of the few ways they can get AoEs. So cool. It's good for AoEs. AoEs are often useful. Next icon, Worn icon, Horn of Plenty. It has the extra dimensional trait. Usage, a wallet. Here's my wallet of plenty. Bag or a similar container of one bulk you can wear on your body. Whether a bag, gourd, wallet, cornucopia, or a similar food receptacle. Reach into my taco shell of holding. This icon recalls the harvest and hearth. The receptacle can store up to one bulk of potions and elixirs, but no other items. The receptacle can't be opened except by the icon's imminence and transcendence abilities. Each day during your daily preparations, the icon produces one temporary elixir of life. You can choose to have it make a different elixir or potion you know the formula for. The level of any elixir or potion created by the horn must be your level or lower. Fine, duh. The number of elixirs the horn creates increases to 2 at 8th level and 3 at 16th level, and you can choose each item individually. These temporary items vanish the next time you make your daily preparations, and any remaining effects of the temporary items end. A temporary elixir or potion has no value. I just realized you could be a witch and take Cauldron, which gives you the ability to create potions of your level or less. So you could just get magic potions from this, too? Because extra potions? Because potions are the fun, weird magic things. Like transform you into a thing, or give you wormling breath, or, I don't know, just make you drunk. Or change gender. Which is fun. Imminence ability. The Horn of Plenty shimmers, allowing access to the stored consumables inside. You can interact to draw a consumable and drink it in a single action while your divine spark rests within the horn. Other creatures can't access the contents unless you allow them to. Then it sounds like other creatures could also interact to draw a consumable and drink it in a single action. That's not very specific. Transcendence. Feed the masses. One action. The Horn of Plenty allows you to transfer the effects of potions and elixirs to your allies. You interact to draw a consumable from the horn and then interact to drink it. Rather than nourishing yourself, the item's effects are transferred to a willing ally within 60 feet, as if they had consumed it themselves. If the consumable restores hit points, you can choose to divide the amount it restores between you and the ally freely, after rolling dice to determine the amount. I just realized that you could, like, make friends with a town guard or a suspected villain or assassin or something. And so they're friends. So they're allies. So then you just drink poison and pass it to them. Why not? Because it's mean? Maybe. Anyway, obviously that's very useful to save other people actions that they need to use in combat. I can't really picture an Exemplar being just a backup character. Like, the Exemplar is sort of built with main character syndrome. They are going on this quest to make a name for themselves to become a freaking god. And I'm just going to sit in the back and drink potions to heal my allies. That doesn't feel right. But it is an effective strategy in combat. Next icon, Worn icon, Mirrored Aegis. Usage, any shield. This shield is polished so brightly it can reflect even spiritual and ethereal attacks. That's awesome. Imminence, aura. The Mirrored Aegis emits an aura in a 15-foot emanation that protects you and all allies in the aura from harm, granting a +1 status bonus to AC. Yay! If the Mirrored Aegis houses your divine spark for 10 uninterrupted minutes, it is restored to full hit points. Oh, that's really convenient. Although really not essential, because you can just craft to repair it. I guess that's a minor benefit, but everybody gets a bonus to their AC, which is great. Transcendence, raise the walls. One action, force trait. You raise the Mirrored Aegis, which summons ethereal shields that surround you and one ally of your choice within 15 feet in a tortoise shield formation. Okay. You and the ally gain a +1 status bonus to AC, reflex saves, and any save against a Force, Spirit, Vitality, or Void effect for 1 minute. Okay. Alright. So once you do that, the spark leaves the Aegis, but because of how the Transcendence works, you essentially keep getting the Imminence effect for yourself and the one other ally, and you can put the spark in something else to trigger its Transcendence. So this is one of the only icons that allow you to make use of its ability while your spark is in something else. Totally useful. Unless you have a bard or somebody that gives status bonuses. I like the feel of it a lot, though, and it's mechanically quite advantageous to keep gaining the ability, for the most part, from your icon while triggering another one. Next icon, weapon icon, Mortal Harvest. Usage, a sickle or any weapon from the axe, flail, or polearm group. This weapon, once used for felling trees or crops, now harvests lives instead. You could put this on the Barrow's Edge. Just make it an axe. Or sickle. Or some polearms. Imminence. The Mortal Harvest deals 1 persistent spirit damage per weapon damage die to creatures it strikes. That's neat, because there's no, you need to critically hit. There's no save. They just take persistent damage. Transcendence. Reap the field. 1 action. Requirements. Your previous action was a successful strike with the Mortal Harvest. Effect. Time seems to lag as you blur across the battlefield, deciding the fate of many in a moment. The feel of this works so well, and actually the mechanics of it, with one of the Apocalypse Writer's mythic destinies. Time seems to lag as you blur across the battlefield, deciding the fate of many in a moment. Stride up to half your speed and make another melee strike with the Mortal Harvest against a different creature. This strike uses the same multiple attack penalty as your previous strike, but counts toward your multiple attack penalty as normal. It's just about killing people. Because that's what you do. Because you're very vicious, dark demigod. You're using 1 action to both stride and attack. There's nothing wrong with that. It's great for extra mobility, and it's not always going to be useful in combat, but it will frequently be. Because if you could finish off an enemy, because you're probably a melee warrior of some sort, then you could be saving the lives of your allies or just making the fight end faster. Next icon, weapon icon, Noble Branch. Usage, a staff, bow staff, fighting stick, kakara, or any weapon in the spear or polearm weapon group. This humble stick-like weapon has an elegant simplicity to it, affording you reliable strikes over flashy maneuvers. Imminence, the Noble Branch deals 2 additional spear damage per weapon damage die to creatures it strikes. Reliable damage is good. Transcendence, strike, breathe, rend. 1 action, spirit trait, requirements. Your last action this turn was a successful strike with the Noble Branch. Effect, you channel a rending pulse of energy down your weapon in the moment of contact. The target of the strike takes spirit damage equal to the Noble Branch's weapon damage dice. This includes any extra dice from striking runes, but not from special abilities, property runes, or the like. The name of it is way cooler than the ability. There are better options. Mainly because it's just straight damage for an action. There are better uses for an extra action during your turn. Demoralize, fainting, tripping. It'll be useful if they're almost dead.
Meh.
Next icon, worn icon, Pelt of the Beast. It means like a bunch of critters get thrown at you. You know, you're pelted. Usage, worn cloak or belt. This animal hide, whether worn about the shoulders or waist, is all you need to survive even the harshest elements. When you make your daily preparations, choose cold, electricity, fire, poison, or sonic damage. The pelt attunes to that damage type. Imminence, you gain resistance equal to half your level to the damage type the pelt is attuned to. You also treat environmental cold and heat effects as 1 step less severe. Barring the second part, which in some cases is extremely useful and most cases doesn't matter at all, the environmental heat and cold effects. The ability to just change what kind of energy you're resistant to every morning, and you always have some sort of resistance that's equal to half your level, amazing. I don't think I care what the rest of this does. That's great. Transcendence. Survive the wilds. 1 action, aura, manipulate. You wrap the pelt around yourself. You can choose to change the damage type the pelt is attuned to. The pelt shines gold, drawing the offending energies into itself. Until the start of your next turn, this shine creates an aura in a 15-foot emanation. You and all allies in the emanation gain a +2 circumstance bonus to AC and saving throws against effects with that trait. Even better. It's just protective, but it's always going to be protective. This is great. Like, this is the benchmark that I would measure other icons against. Like, if something isn't cooler than this, I'm taking this. But this one has a special place in my heart. Next icon, body icon, Scar of the Survivor, usage imbued in the skin. A scar on your body commemorates a time someone tried to end your story and failed. A testament to your resilience and fortitude, or blind stupid luck. Imminence, divine energy spreads outward from your scar, reinforcing your flesh. You gain the benefits of the Die Hard feat and a +1 status bonus to fortitude saving throws. Something I love about this, love about all of these, for the multiclass archetype, is that since you're taking it, unless you're 12th level, because you can get a second one, you just keep the spark in the icon, so you will always get the imminence ability. You don't have to decide. So, with the NPC I made, he just always gets the benefits of the Die Hard feat and a +1 status bonus to fortitude saves, unless he wants to use the second ability and then spend another action to put the spark back into it. I love that you can count on it. It's nice. Transcendent ability. No scar but this. One action. Concentrate, healing, vitality. Your wounds knit shut with hardly a scratch. You regain 1d8 hit points. At 3rd level and every 2 levels thereafter, the healing increases by 1d8. So at 12th level, which he's at, is 6d8. So the spark always stays in there. You can spend one action to heal yourself 6d8. Then spend an action to put the spark back in the icon. And then next turn you can do it again. Yeah! This is awesome. There are some icons that are just great for anybody. This is one of them. Next icon, weapon icon, Shadow Sheath, extra dimensional trait. Usage, a holster or sheath shaped for a one-handed thrown weapon of light bulk or less. Oh, it has to be thrown. What about a gun? With an infinite array of darts, throwing knives, or similar weapons, you never need worry about being unarmed. You can spend 1 minute to load a weapon meeting the Shadow Sheath's usage requirements into the sheath, which is hidden somewhere on your person. As long as the Shadow Sheath is on your person, you can interact to draw an exact copy of the weapon from thin air. These copies retain the runes and abilities of the hidden weapon, though if you use any limited use abilities such as talismans or activations with a frequency limit that count against the weapon's normal usages, a copy disappears shortly after leaving your hand or being used for a thrown strike. Fun. Very fun. Imminence. That's just always the case. That's neat, because it's a magic item always, regardless of where your Divine Spark is. Imminence. You can interact to draw a weapon from the Shadow Sheath as a free action. Your strikes with a weapon produced from the Shadow Sheath deal 2 additional spirit damage per weapon damage die, which increases to 3 per die if the target is off guard. Cool. The extra damage is always good. Transcendence, Liar's Hidden Blade. One action has the spirit trait requirements. Your previous action was an unsuccessful strike with the weapon from the Shadow Sheath. Effect, the shadow weapon you threw fades, the distraction covering your true intention all along. A second strike in hidden? Really? A second strike hidden in the blind spot of the first. Interact to draw another weapon from the Shadow Sheath, then strike with it at the same multiple attack penalty as the unsuccessful attack. The opponent is off guard to this attack. Awesome! The strike counts toward your multiple attack penalty as normal. After the strike resolves, you can interact to draw another weapon from the Shadow Sheath. Okay, cool. You just get another... It's like Sure Strike, but after the fact. I like that one. That's a lot of flavor and fun. You can build a character around just that. Like, I only have one knife. I mean, I only have one more knife. One more knife. Next icon, body icon, skin hard as horn, usage imbued in the skin. Tempered in your spirit, your very skin is as a suit of armor, though a single location on your body remains unprotected. A curse and a challenge within your legend. During your daily preparations, you can strike your skin lightly with an object that deals bludgeoning, slashing, or piercing damage to habituate your skin against this type of injury, attuning the icon to that damage type. Can you imagine that around the campfire? Someone's just like walking around whipping themselves with like sharp barbs or something. You're like, can you just wait until after we eat it at least? Nope, gotta get ready for the day. Hold on. Oh yeah. Oh, okay, but you're bleeding in the sausages. Anyway, that's what happens in my mind. Imminence. When your skin houses your divine spark, you gain resistance to the attuned damage type equals half your level. This resistance doesn't apply against critical hits, which successfully find your unprotected spot. Awesome ability. Transcendence. Crash against me. One action, your skin becomes virtually unbreakable. Until the start of your next turn, you have resistance equal to your level to the chosen damage type. During this time, if a creature attacking you using a weapon dealing the same damage type as your resistance misses you or hits you but deals no damage due to your resistance, the weapon clangs wildly off your skin. This painful vibration makes the attacking enemy off guard, and it gives a -2 circumstance penalty to attacks with that weapon until the start of the enemy's next turn. Amazing. A wonderful icon to choose for anybody. You can't tell me healers never get beat down. What? Okay. Yeah, I love you too. He has to lay right on the mouse pad, where I'm giving all my attention to the mouse. Next icon, worn icon, Skybearer's Belt. Usage, worn belt. This girdle wraps around your waist, magnifying your strength to the point you feel you could carry the sky itself, but you can't. Imminence. Strength flows forth. You can attempt to disarm, grapple, shove, or trip creatures up to 2 sizes larger than you, and you gain a +1 circumstance bonus to checks for these actions and to your saving throws to resist these actions. It doesn't stack with Titan Wrestler. So obviously that's really good unless you just take Titan Wrestler. Transcendence. Bear allies' burdens. 2 actions. You move with a speed belying your strength, carrying your allies as easily as straw dolls. You stride. At any point you are adjacent to a willing ally during the stride, you can pick that ally up, and you can deposit them into a space adjacent to you at any other point during your movement. You ignore the ally's bulk while carrying them during your stride. You can climb, fly, or swim instead of striding if you have the corresponding movement type. I freaking love this. It really calls for a specific build. You have to have high speed. Monks do this really well. Still, it takes 2 actions to take a single stride. But it could be extremely helpful. If, like so many monks, you have a huge speed and other people in your group don't, and they also need to be in melee, just pick them up and run with them. You might be spending your actions, but you're also giving them more actions, like way more actions. Like you're spending 1 instead of them spending 2. Or you're spending 2 instead of them spending 3. Yeah, something like that. Because movement. Next icon, weapon icon, Starshot. Usage, a ranged weapon. You might be the only one capable of stringing this bow or pulling this trigger. Either way, the icon's shots are packed with explosive power, striking like falling stars. Imminence. Strikes with a Starshot deal an additional 1 spirit splash damage per weapon damage die. Only spirit. Okay. It's still extra damage, but it's only ever 1 per weapon damage die. It's just not impressive. It's not fun. Transcendence. Giant felling comet. 2 actions. It has the spirit trait. You shoot the Starshot, causing a detonation in a 5-foot burst within 60 feet. Each creature in the area must succeed at a basic reflex save against your class DC or take spirit damage equal to your normal strike damage with the Starshot. Creatures larger than you take a -2 circumstance penalty to their saving throws. This shot requires any ammunition that would normally be required for the weapon. That's just fun, but I would really just want to add it to another kind of ranged attacker, like a gunslinger. Or a Starlit Sentinel, ranged version. It's useful. It's useful. It is. Most of this class seems about like taking damage or dealing out damage or protecting people from melee. Like most of the icons point to you are a melee martial. There are a few that help ranged. So yes, it's good that the support is there, but it probably seems more useful. It does seem more useful to me if it's taken as a multiclass archetype. Next icon, worn icon, 1,000 League sandals, usage worn shoes. Threadbare but trustworthy, your sandals have carried you this far and they'll carry you much further still. Imminence, your sandals ease your travels on the path ahead, granting you a plus 10-foot status bonus to your speed. Awesome! You can do that at any level. First level, you just have 10-foot increase movement speed. Transcendence Marathon Dash. One action, your feet carry you so quickly they leave a slipstream that speeds your allies on. Use stride. Each ally within 10 feet of you at the start of your movement can stride as a reaction. Amazing! It takes one action, you get your stride, and you help everyone else move. As long as they're near you. This also helps everyone. This is great. I mean, you can put this on any build, and it's good. Weapon icon. Titan's Breaker. Usage. Any melee weapon in the club, hammer, or axe group, or any melee unarmed strike that deals bludgeoning damage. There's a typo there. It's fine. Letting it go. You wield a weapon whose blows shatter mountains with ease. Imminence. The Titan's Breaker deals 2 additional spirit damage per weapon damage die to creatures it strikes. Constructs and objects are not immune to the spirit damage, and the spirit damage automatically bypasses an amount of their hardness equal to your level. Okay. Transcendence. Fracture Mountains. 2 actions. It has the spirit trait. Your spirit is so dense. Sounds like an insult. It takes on tangible force. Make a melee strike with the Titan's Breaker. This counts as 2 attacks when calculating your multiple attack penalty. If this strike hits, your additional spirit damage from the icon's imminence increases to 4 plus an extra die of weapon damage. If you're at least 10th level, it's increased to 6 spirit damage and 2 extra dice, and if you're at least 18th level, it's increased to 8 spirit damage and 3 extra dice. This is just a steady progression that will always be just as good to make you do more damage. It's always going to be as good as it is when you start using it. It's boring. But if you're optimizing for damage, you take it, because that's what you do. Unfailing Bow. Weapon icon. Usage a ranged weapon. The shots fired from this weapon seem guided by divine accuracy, finding the swiftest targets. Imminence. The Unfailing Bow deals 1 additional spirit damage per weapon damage die to creatures it strikes, or 1d4 additional spirit damage per weapon die on a critical hit. Cool. Transcendence. Arrow splits arrow. That's not a typo. 1 action. Requirements. Your previous action was to strike with the Unfailing Bow. Effect. You repeat your motions exactly. Your attack landing in the same location as your previous shot. You make a strike against the same target. The result of your d20 roll is the same as the result of the required shot, though any penalties, such as your multiple attack penalty, apply normally to the shot, and you don't automatically adjust the degree of success if the initial roll was a natural 1 or 20. So it is just easier to make the same shot you just made than having to roll a d20. If you're going for damage and you're ranged, you take this. Because that's what you do. Because it's just more reliable damage. It's boring. Really, really boring. Last icon, Victor's Wreath. Worn icon, usage worn headwear or belt, typically a sash. This symbol of victory, whether a laurel worn around the head or a medal that hangs from your neck, reminds you and your allies that victory is the only acceptable outcome. Imminence, aura, emotional, mental. You inspire your allies to greater glory. You and all allies in a 15-foot emanation gain a +1 status bonus to attack rolls. Jeez, that's straightforward, useful. Transcendence, 1 moment till glory. 1 action has the concentrate, emotion, and mental traits. You rally your allies, carrying them from the brink of disaster to the verge of victory. Each ally in your aura can immediately attempt a new saving throw with a +2 status bonus against 1 ongoing negative effect or condition currently affecting them, even if that effect would not normally allow a new saving throw. I love that part. That you just get to roll it again, even if it doesn't normally allow a new saving throw. How does that work on Petrify? Like, if you've already failed all the rounds of Petrify, would you get another saving throw? It doesn't say it has to be a mental or emotional effect. Those are just the traits. So can I give this statue another saving throw? It's really tempting to say yes because it's dramatic. I think I'd say yes. Because drama. That's all the icons. Still gonna go over the feats, just not in this video. Because this is a long video already, and I've just talked about icons and how you could use them and which ones are crap and which ones are cool. there are several that I really, really like because they're always useful, like saving your ass with healing. There is a lot of chatter, or at least there has been, maybe there isn't by the time you're watching this video, about how the Exemplar Multiclass Archetype is BS, is too powerful. It's because they give the Multiclass Archetype person the same thing that the Exemplar gets. The Icons. And the Icons are supposed to be what being an Exemplar is all about. But they had to pick something, guys. It's either, like, the Icons or the Epithets. I mean, like, pick one. And there's a lot more Icons, so it would be a lot more attractive to just be able to take this. You know? It's sort of like how the Alchemist Multiclass Archetype is amazing. It is. This is really good, too. I don't think it's broken. But it does give somebody a feel of an Exemplar. And in this era of War of Immortals and Divine Mysteries about God, flesh, and blood coming to Earth and people becoming godly, it fits the theme. And there's going to be a lot of people who have abilities like this, including monsters you fight. It's fine. Yeah, it's a little bit more of an edge. But it does take some of the flavor from an Exemplar. I don't know how they would resolve that. I just don't. Maybe give some feats that non-Exemplars can't take? I don't know. I keep harping on the multi-class archetype version of the Exemplar icons because everyone can use one of these icons. They're useful. There's such a selection here. It's sort of like saying, you fighter can choose any 3rd level spell. Just choose one. You can cast it like once every 2 rounds. That's something to talk about. This is good. Some of them are boring, but even the boring ones are also good. Thank you for joining me. If you're a patron, thank you for joining me every day. Appreciate your help every month. And if you are not a patron and you want to win some cool dice, we're going to be giving away this set. All of this. Yeah, that's a lot. At the end of, well, actually at the beginning of next month, the beginning of December. So you'd have to click on Patreon link down below. You have to pledge $5 or more per month to be entered into the drawing to randomly win this. And if you want to definitely receive dice every month, then you can join the highest level of Patreon down there if you want to take a look, and you'll get dice sent to you every month and time with me to make something if you want. The Discord link is also in the description if you would like to join us, the Legion of Nerds. It's fun. There's a lot of cool people on our Discord. If you want to catch up on Divine Mysteries, here. If you want to catch the live stream I mentioned, it's here. Because it's fun. Stolen Fate's awesome.